Starting take two in 3, 2, 1, go! It's the end of the world as we know it. Well, not yet, but apparently, according to some, within the next 24 hours, maybe a little more, maybe a few more hours longer than 24 hours, it will, be the end of the world, apparently. It depends if you buy into the whole thing. But the fact is that we're here now. We're doing a show now. We're here for all of you. As long as we stick together as a family, we'll be fine. So welcome to Take Two. That is right, yet another episode of the show. Ronnie and I have returned for more. We have a great itinerary planned for you all, and it is also, and we're going to have Ronnie make it official in just a moment. She'll announce the episode number. It is the episode where Ronnie features her movie report. Yep. So we'll get into all of that in just a bit. So, hey, Ronnie, how are you over there?
I'm great. So you think this is our final episode?
Do I think it's our final episode? No, I don't. I don't, personally. But we'll get more into that, obviously, the whole rapture thing. First, let's get this out of the way. It's time to plug the network as I do every show. If all of you tuned in right now would be so kind, would you please, as the great listeners to the network, visit www.vonthenet.com. That is right, the Voices on the Net Network's website, where you, the great listeners, will be able to find more information pertaining to the Voices on the Net network. All you need to do is go up to the top of the website. You'll see the About link. You click it. You'll arrive at a web page providing you everything you need to know pertaining to the network in thorough detail. Yeah, you could also check out podcasts of any of the episodes from any of the shows, and all of these are on demand. That is right, for and at your very own convenience. They're all there. You can check all of these great features out by going to www.vonthenet.com. So, yeah, we have a show to do, but you do your part at the beginning of every show, Ronnie. You know, you make it official. You look in the envelope. You announce the episode number. We are approaching the next mini milestone, clearly, but we have to get through this episode first. You want to do your part and make it official?
Well, it is officially, JJ, episode 267.
There you go, episode number 267, The Hesitation by Ronnie.
Well, wait a minute.
She couldn't get it out. She was so anticipating the moment, she couldn't get it out. It's like, come on now, Ronnie, you can do it. You can do it.
Whoa, what was it?
She finally got it out. That is right, episode number 267. Glad to be here as always. It could quite possibly be our last episode, Ronnie. You know that? It quite possibly can. I don't believe it, but apparently, according to some, they feel the world is going to end. Yeah. If these individuals are correct, this time, no, actually a few hours after this time tomorrow, the world will experience a set of earthquakes. I believe they set the time at 6 o'clock Eastern time, Pacific time, around the world, wherever it is. 6 o'clock p.m., earthquakes will shake the world. And, yeah, that's that. I guess that's that, Jack. I guess I'm assuming that, you know, the hype that's going into it has to do with some kind of marketing ploy. I would like to talk about this because there's books involved. In other words, somebody wrote a book. They're getting all the attention. It's a marketing ploy. There's a radio station involved. Money's being made. You know what? I just don't buy into it. I don't. Call me naive, but I don't buy into it. I really don't, Ronnie. What about you, this whole end of the world spiel?
Absolutely not. He's stating he tried to predict this how many times before and has failed. Of course, he thinks now that, you know, he's gotten all of his mathematical equations right, and according to his estimation, that this is all according to the Bible. I'm not sure what Bible he's reading, JJ, because, did he forget the part that states that no man knows?
Right.
Maybe he forgot that part when he was doing his guesstimation. This is more like someone going into the movie theater yelling fire, or we've had people that thus far that have just posted when we were involved in a military operation in Afghanistan. Someone posted on there, and it actually was a teenager that posted on there that Obama, our president, should watch his back because of what was going to happen. And he actually got questioned by the federal agents going to his school and pulling him out by just saying that on Facebook, which is something we already knew would probably happen.
Right.
But this guy can go out there and yell rapture, the end of days here, collect all this money for a nonprofit organization, mind you, and nothing happens. Look at the pandemonium that he's causing here. I mean, companies have made buku bucks, underground tunnels, people selling all of the MREs, preparations, people putting their jobs, for crying out loud. And he's not going to be held accountable for anything. I want to see these same people. I want to hear his reaction when we're here Sunday morning and it didn't happen.
Right.
What's his excuse?
Oh, absolutely. It's I think he's been delving into the New Testament corpus a bit too much. The Book of Revelations. He's like these futuristic theories and so forth, and that's exactly what they are, theories. You talk about scientists having trouble predicting what's going to happen a day later, let alone years or decades, centuries later, and you have one individual leading the way, basing it off of what's being stated in the Bible. Lack of, maybe, because that's not really what's stated in the Bible, as Ronnie brought up. No man shall know, really, because if you think about it, how would one know when the world is going to end? You don't. It just. We go back to, what was it, 94, 96? It was in the 90s somehow. And this same guy predicted what he's predicting right now. Now, apparently he's had time to study the Bible, or study his findings, and now he's gotten it right, apparently, this time. Oh, it's ending, he's stating. There's no doubt about it. There are people, Ronnie, selling their homes. There are people giving their personal items away. They're leaving their jobs. They're saying their last goodbyes to their family and their friends. People are heading into bunkers. They're going for higher ground. It's crazy. It really is what these people are doing. And I'll tell you, I just, people on Facebook are lighting the walls up. They're lighting their walls up with this. And it's interesting to see how younger people are taking it, a la 10, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, or even younger than that, where these kids don't want to hear this. They don't want this. They want to live their life. They don't want to hear that the world's going to end, the apocalypse. I mean, they don't want this. And this hype right here, you would think, is comparable to something along the lines of somebody yelling fire in a movie theater or bomb on an airplane. We would get fined and put in jail for this, yet these people are riding around in a caravan saying the end of the world is near, and they're causing widespread panic, and you wonder what's going to happen the day after. Or even, they say 6 o'clock, that's when the earthquakes are going to begin. What happens at 6:01? What happens at 6:02? What happens at 7 o'clock? What happens at 8 o'clock? What happens 24 hours after that when nothing happens? What are the excuses going to be?
Yeah. I'm waiting to find out those excuses myself. Is he going to say, oh, well, these two pages were stuck together and I didn't get to add these two equations in there? This is baloney, because how many lives is he actually disrupting? He is like the Kool-Aid leader, Jim Jones. That people, I think that he's far more dangerous than Jones ever could have been, because Jones didn't go out there and seek people. People actually sought him. And he, of course, he's the one that killed men, women, and children, his followers, with poisoned Kool-Aid. This guy is poisoning the well with his own, I don't even sure if he believes it himself, but his own ideals, his own concept, his own delusion. And people are buying into the delusion. People are seeking always for an answer, regardless of what it is. But then you have these conspiracy theorists that build upon and build upon and build upon. And this guy is actually seeking people out. So he's coming to them.
Right.
Preaching whatever he's preaching. He's actually giving people who are Christianity the bad name. He's like the fork that branched off of the main religion, and he's going out here and is doing his own tentacles that actually has caused a lot of the problems that we've had thus far that gives Christians a bad name, and they're taking religion out of everything is because of people like him.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be put on a pedestal or put on a billboard. Maybe he should be put on the wanted list or locked up in an institution somewhere. He is that, in my opinion, that dangerous because people have quit their jobs.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Is he going to pay them back for all the money that they've lost when this doesn't happen?
You bring up a very good point. Very good point right there, that this guy has spurred a lot of conspiracy where he is the cause, the center figure around people losing, or not losing, but leaving their jobs, selling their homes. So all of this said and done, everything is said and done. The world doesn't end. People have left their jobs. People have sold their homes. People have given their personal items away. Is he going to reimburse all of them? Well, with all of the money that he's raking in, this end of the world spiel is raking in a lot of dollars. Or do you put the responsibility in the hands of those that actually believed this nut job, that actually believed this guy? Do you put the responsibility in their hands? They sell their home, they're dumb. They leave their job, they're dumb. If they believe this. That they're just doing exactly what this guy wants them to do. So that it isn't his responsibility. It's theirs.
Yeah.
I think really what it comes down to be is that this guy, his name is Harold Camping, and he is raking in the dough. Let's not forget about that. This is really raking in the dough. I believe this nonprofit, quote-unquote nonprofit that is, has raised more than $100 million over the past 7 years. And this network, this evangelical network, runs 66 radio stations. I guess this guy runs it, Camping. It's called Family Radio and so forth. It's made $72 million in 2009 alone. A lot of money. A lot.
Yeah.
It's raking in the dough. And then this guy's a book, too. So,
would you consider him as a cult leader? People are being brainwashed. This is what it is with brainwashed.
Right.
That these people are following, that they've lost their ability to critically think, take things apart, and think rationally. They believe what comes out of their box in the television. They believe what they see on the internet without having to do cross-referencing and checking out sources or anything like that. They become more of a sponge than they are as to critically think this through. They're following for this. I mean, are they looking for an answer? Is there something missing in your life? How does one become brainwashed and controlled by another individual?
Well, you think that people wouldn't be as, say, unpretentious as you would think people would have that jump step or the will to maybe think ahead of what this guy is preaching. And there are a lot of people that are doing exactly that. They're simply forgetting about what this guy is saying and living their lives. Why are they going to let one guy simply affect their lives? Why are they going to let one man change the way they're going to live their lives? They're not going to do that. They're not. They're going to live their lives the way they live it, the way it has been lived their entire lives, the way they've lived it, really, the way that they know how to live their lives, with their families, with the ones they love, their friends, rather than take in all of this hype, take in all of this panic and conspiracy, and give this guy the time of day. Because deep down inside, little do we know, this guy probably, no, this guy doesn't probably, this guy wants the attention, clearly. Now,
Absolutely.
The thing is, nobody knows when the end of time is. Nobody knows when the end of time is. Nobody, not one person. Scientists don't know when the end of time is. I guess if enough people predict enough days, somebody's bound to get it right. That's how I look at it. I guess if this guy predicts enough days, the guy's going to get it right eventually. So that's why I am upset, irritated by what the media is doing here. They're really feeding into this. Now, I realize we are talking about it, but we're not necessarily feeding into it by spreading panic and hype. We're trying to say how ridiculous this is. That's
We're trying to shake people into reality.
Right.
Come on, people.
We're trying to say that the next time you tune in to Take Two, the next episode, you're going to be here with us. That's what we're trying to say.
This guy, it's funny how he'll sit there and state that earthquakes around the world. Okay, I can predict that. You know why? Because earthquakes occur every 7 seconds somewhere in the world. Anyone can predict that. The things that he's predicting occurs naturally in our atmosphere. But I think he's utilizing what we've recently seen and the propaganda that we've heard, with environmentalists, and then you have scientists going out there. The planets are in alignment. The fear. He's feeding off fear, and this is making him money. Should he be classified and held then under the umbrella of nonprofit at this point? Because is he really? This is what kills me with some of these churches out there. Westboro Baptist Church really isn't a church. It's a family hiding under this umbrella and classifies themselves as that. I mean, if you and I would make a church name up, we could be nonprofit and bilk in all this kind of money, buku bucks, and change the world to whatever degree we want to.
Right. This guy is raking in the dough, not only from not other proceedings, but donations. Yeah. He's making a ton of money via donations. This guy, I believe, the donations alone, he made $18.4 million in 2009. $18.4 million. And I run a netcast network where I don't spur controversy and hype that the world is going to end and this, that, and the other thing. I would like to I would be happy making 1% of what that guy's making in donations. And he's raking in the dough because he's spurring conspiracy and hype, and people are buying into this and so forth. They feel that if they're following this guy, they'll be quote unquote saved. It just, I'm a Catholic guy. All right. Yep. I'm a Catholic guy. But what this guy is doing is unethical, is immoral in every way, shape, or form. And I'm not ashamed to say that. It really is.
He is. He's, it's been preached to us that you're not supposed to follow false people, false gods. This guy stated earlier on, that God had told him that this was when he was coming and how to actually correct his mathematical equations that he didn't get right in the first place. Okay, let's just think about this. You have the superior being that has this outtake that he's going to tell you that he is coming. The end of the world is coming. Is he going to pick some crackpot that's sitting in the middle of the road, this guy? Or is he going to actually talk to somebody that people might listen to with respect, like the Pope? This doesn't even make any sense. People use your head.
Right.
This is not, the end of the world is not happening. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think we're just going to live our lives the way we do. Because you know what?
How we have to live it is day after day, week after week, month after month.
That's right.
And when the world ends, the world ends. It's like, why put a date on, it's similar to wanting to find out when your last days are. I think you sent me an article where there's an over-the-counter blood test that will literally give you, I believe, within a decade period, 10-year period, when you're going to die. Give you the exact, it's going to be able to tell when you're going to die because it looks at certain things in your body and so forth. I don't know exactly what it's all about, but like that. It's similar to that. Why would you even want to know that? Why? Live your life the way it is. When you die, you die. When the world ends, the world ends. That's how it is. People predict this stuff, cause panic, and I understand it leads to buzz, but is that the kind of buzz you want? Is that the kind of buzz we want? It's the kind of buzz they want. They're raking in the dough. Remember, we're not making money. They're making money. Of course they want. Of course they want this to be hyped up. Of course they want the media to buy into it and feed into it. They're making millions of dollars, $100 million plus over the last 7 years. Yeah, of course they're happy about it, but it just I don't feel that. I just want people to listen to what you and I have to say here. And I know the listeners tuned into this network at least are gaining insight from us, what we're saying. Because
we have very smart listeners.
Yeah. So. I think you know exactly which lead to follow here. It's just not, I don't think people are I don't want to say people that follow this guy are necessarily immensely naive, but they are. It's like they want to hold on to something they feel they don't have as tight a grip on as they originally had thought.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying there. They have a faith. They believe in a God. They believe that they're going to be saved if they follow this guy. If they don't follow this guy, they're going to suffer, as this guy states. So I guess that means Ronnie and I are going to suffer because we don't follow this guy. So we're not going to be risen up on May 21st tomorrow, apparently.
We'll miss the boat again.
I guess we're going to miss it. So it just, I think we just need to live our lives the way we live it. And it's important to take life as it comes. That's how I look at things. And I think, is that really an irrational way of looking at things? No, I don't think so.
No.
So
you live one day at a time, and you live each day as its fullest. That's how you do it. You don't just wait until a threat is made, and all of a sudden you try to live it all at the last minute. What have you missed out? You do that every day.
Exactly. I wanted to get into that because clearly it's the day before, quote unquote, the rapture is going down, because I wanted to get into it just to bring it up and try and just detest all of the hype going on. And I'm glad we did do that. What do you say we head into some associations, though? We'll get into Ronnie's stamp of reparation. We'll see what she has to say on this 267th episode of Take Two. So do you want to start us off with an association, Ronnie? I know you've got a couple over there for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This comes from a Russian man. He presently weighs right now 244 pounds. But when he started out, he weighed 511 pounds.
Wow.
He could no longer sleep on his back.
Big guy.
He could hardly walk. And he had absolutely no sex life whatsoever. Oh, imagine.
Oh, gosh.
He's 45 years old. They called him Mountain Man. He was so overweight that he ended up going through 4 hours of surgery to have all this excess fat removed from his abdomen and poundage.
Let me guess. 267 pounds was cut off his body, right?
Off of his abdomen
Off
alone.
of his abdomen
That's
alone.
where it was.
Wow. That's
Can
a
you
lot of
imagine?
fat.
That's like, what, 3 of me?
Yeah. It's
Off
like,
of your belly?
that's like 50 of me. No. That's a lot. No, because I'm skinny. I'm a skinny guy. I really am. I'd like to put weight on. Not that much weight, though. But
No. I mean, 267 pounds taken off of your belly. That's a lot.
that is a lot. That's a heavy guy right
Fat.
there. Yeah, he's a big
that's
guy.
a lot.
I mean,
Ooh.
yeah, it's not healthy for your heart. That's not healthy for your body to
No.
have all that fat.
You
want,
remember that guy we had that just died in his chair? This guy could have died in his bed.
of course. How many people that are that overweight die every day?
I know.
That's a big problem in the United States. Overweight, people that are overweight. It's a huge problem. It's so many people are dealing with that. So
Oh yeah.
So it could be a horrifying existence. Because many of these people that are really, I'm talking about morbidly over, or not morbidly, what am I talking about? Excessively overweight. They're they're existing. They believe me. They did not ask for that. While they may have eaten a lot, they have a disorder if you get that heavy. Because you could eat a
Usually
lot.
it's thyroid.
Right. You don't think it's just metabolism.
No.
It's excessively overweight, a problem in the United States of America. There are a lot of people that are excessively overweight, I can tell you that. All right, I've got an association for you here. Puppies. Yeah, we love puppies. I love puppies. I love animals. I'm an animal lover. I know, Ronnie, you love puppies. You love dogs,
yes.
right? Well, in Cleveland, Ohio, there are 2 loves. I guess you only thought there was one, baseball. But there's 2 loves in Cleveland, Ohio. There's baseball and there's dogs, yeah. And both of them came together at Progressive Field as 461 escorts walked around the warning track at the ballpark with their pup buddies. 267 puppies, yeah. 267 4-footed fans walked the warning track at Progressive Field. Yeah, it's pretty cool right there. Now, that's a lot of puppies. It's a lot of
that is.
It's a lot of doggy doo-doo. They better clean that up on the field. You don't want the ball players stepping in that, but yeah.
Yeah, the scoop-a-doop.
Yeah, I know. But, it's pretty cool. Puppy Palooza, the first for the Cleveland Indians. Yeah, to where the Cleveland Indians play. And it states the promotion, standard fare at many minor league sporting events benefited the Cleveland Animal Protective League, which received a portion of the ticket sales and helped fill a section of the ballpark near the right field foul pole with some extra fans. So that's good to hear. More so that it's cute that these puppies and their escorts got their exposure in front of everybody. And
can you just imagine laying down and all 267 puppies just coming on and like,
That's cute. All right, what about some funny laws? I know you've got
I have one funny law, but let me explain it to begin with. This is going for the state of Tennessee. They incorporated municipalities to create a state, of course, before they actually became a state. At that time, there were only 267 named municipalities.
Okay.
However, that number has increased to 347 due to the census data. So they divided the state into smaller districts. Now, to go along with that little bit of information, in 1954, they must have had a problem with not only their census, but also their court system, because they had some real issues involving custody of children after divorces, and custody of children when the parent had died, because the city of Baxter implemented this law within the family courts. This is 04-267-B that prevents the family dog of being named legal guardian of any said minors.
So the dog can't be a legal minor of anybody.
He cannot be a guardian, of any minor.
Would you want that, though? I mean, would you want your dog as a guardian, though, honestly?
Well, some of the parents that you hear about lately.
Yeah, I guess for some cases it would actually work out. But
so in Tennessee and Baxter, and it's still in the books. It was done in 1954. It's still in the books. So, if you have children, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your dog cannot be legal guardian of your children.
Too bad.
I'm done.
I guess so. All right, we're going to get into your stamp of reparation, Ronnie. Thank you for your association, your funny law, the laws we always look forward to from you. But before we get into Ronnie's stamp of reparation, we'll see what Ronnie has to say for this 267th episode of Take Two. But before we do that, it is time to thank our sponsor. This portion of the 267th episode of Take Two is brought to you by Audible.com, and we thank Audible for their generous support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net Network. You don't want to listen to what I have to say here. Ronnie and I have one heck of a deal you'll want to take advantage of, with over 85,000 audiobooks to choose from, and counting. Always being added to the service. Always Audible's adding new books and so forth. You'll receive one free audiobook and a 14-day free trial, a 2-week free trial to browse the immense selection of audiobooks offered at Audible. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/take2. That is right, audibletrial.com/take2 to take advantage of this offer. See, if you're an avid book fan, an avid reader, or even if you're not an avid reader, more than likely you enjoy watching television, you enjoy watching movies, you enjoy listening to talk shows, music on your computer, your MP3 player. Well, this is right up your alley then, because rather than holding a book in your hand, traditionally reading word for word or on a computer, an ebook, you're listening to the media. You're listening to somebody read the book to you. Similar and comparable to when your parents read you a bedtime story when you were younger, only this is more engaging. The voiceover artists add more drama, more of a comedic action pertaining to whichever book it may be. You might as well try it out. You don't have anything to lose. You don't have to spend a dime. You receive one free audiobook and a 2-week free trial. And if you don't keep the subscription, you keep the free trial, the free audiobook. So you really have nothing to lose. And we're that confident you'll enjoy it so much you'll want to continue to be a member. Try it out yourself. audibletrial.com/take2. You'll be glad you did. All right? You really will. As always, we thank Audible for their support of the Take Two program, as well as, you got it, the Voices on the Net Network. All right, Ronnie, I knew you've got a stamp for us for this 267th episode of the show, so you've got the mic.
Well, you started the story off quite well. I'm doing the one about the new test that Great Britain has decided, you know what, they're going to unleash it upon us. Of course, it's going to be at the cost of $700 plus to find out whether or not and when you're going to die. Imagine that. It's the theme of the show, isn't it? They have a new blood test that they're going to be able to take, and it's going to test to see that using your chromosomes, called the telomeres, is at the end of your chromosome. The shorter it is, the shorter your lifespan will be. The longer, of course, the longer it's going to be. They're going to utilize this, that you could go and take this test to find out whether or not, I guess, you have been living healthy all this time and how much time you have. Okay, I want to know what's the purpose of this test. Number one, if it's shrinking, there's nothing you can do to alter the effects and make it longer again. It's just, it doesn't grow. It shrinks. It's continuing to shrink. Do you want to know what's going to kill you?
Right.
I mean, get real. It's just like saying when the end of days is going to be here. People don't want to know. When you're diagnosed with cancer and that sort of thing, that's when you think about, okay, this is what I have to do and get my life back into order. Now we're going to sell this test. It's going to be actually out later on this year. When it will become to the United States, it probably, who knows? Well, I don't even think it's got to go through any of our government offices to even actually become here in the United States. They can get this test anywhere. How strange to do this. The one thing that I have a problem with, number one, that they won't release the cure for cancer, but we will test to see how long you have to live. Two, what is going to stop the insurance companies, yes, the insurance companies, from forcing you to take in this test as part of a criteria of being insured, just to find out whether or not that part of the chromosome is shrinking? And if it is, will you be denied? Can you be denied?
Exactly.
Is this going to be a part of it?
Right.
This has no significance, not even in the scientific community, let alone the medical community. What benefit is? Who spent dollars discovering this for what purpose, besides those who actually are frantic or buying into conspiracies to actually determine when they're going to die? It's not even going to be exactly exact. It's just going to tell you, you know what? You didn't die it well. Your environmental got to you. We already know this. Everybody's going to die at some point in time. Right. Everybody. And we don't need a test to find that out.
Right.
This is basically genetic.
Yeah. Would you honestly want to find out when you're I guess an approximate of when you're going to die? Honestly, it's like this, okay? You take this blood test, it gives you insight as to when you're going to die, or an approximation. First off, we have somewhat of control as to when we are going to die, if we do have something along the lines of this telling us when we are, because if we do, and this thing is right, then we can at least take care of it by going to a doctor and somewhat, if there's some, in other words, with this telomeres, telling you how many telomeres you have and predicting an approximation of when you're going to die, when it runs out and so forth, wouldn't doctors be able to target if you get some sort of illness that takes more, that removes certain telomeres? I guess the disease would eat. I don't know exactly how it is. I may sound stupid here when I'm talking about this. I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't know. But if you were to buy this and if it were to tell you when you're going to die, wouldn't you be able to maybe combat a certain illness before it happens? Or the illness, is it inevitable? Is it going to occur regardless?
It's inevitable.
Huh?
It's it's going to happen regardless of one way or the other, because once it starts shrinking, it's shrinking during your life cycle anyway.
Right.
So it's going to tell you whether or not you're aging more faster than what your biological age is. But this can actually help with maybe Alzheimer's, but not really, because there's no cure for Alzheimer's. So why would you want to find out? We have better tests than this, and it's actually going into your DNA, doing a sampling of it, and find out what is in your DNA, what you are carrying. Because, when you're born with certain diseases already within your DNA and certain cancers. It just depends on what is going to trigger these to work. Sometimes they're never triggered.
No, I know.
You can live for your entire life and none of them are triggered.
Oh, I know that.
So this one is just basically, I think it's putting a false thing into your head that when you're going to die, well, that's nice to know, but we already know we're all going to die. We don't need a test to determine that. This is going to tell you, okay, well, it's not going to tell you you're going to die next week or next month, and it's not going to tell you from what. Mm-hmm. So there's no benefit of the test except for what I see, maybe a benefit for insurance companies. other than that, there is no benefit, none
Well, what it does,
whatsoever
well,
for the
it,
scientific community elsewise.
well, what it does is it presents close scrutiny, is what it does, if you think about it, because you are now worried about when you're going to die. That's what it is. That the scrutiny around it is that we're now taking a test, finding out when we're going to die, and our thoughts on that time period now. And you brought up insurance companies. If an insurance company, quote unquote, forced you to take this, I don't know what I would do personally. Actually, I do. I wouldn't take it. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to be forced to take anything. I would fight it. And I don't think. Do you think, honestly, though, an insurance company would have the well, they would have the audacity, clearly. Would they be allowed, really, if you think about it?
They have started doing such tests, such as making, when you're doing a blood test, they actually can get a hold of your medical records. They find out a lot about you, especially if your doctors ran.
I know that. I'm talking about this specifically.
Yeah. Well, I think they already do that now, determining what is carried in your DNA. They know that,
right,
if you're a carrier or something.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't see anything outside that they couldn't force you to take this test to be in part of your policy, to get it cheaper or even being denied.
Stay away from me. That's all I have to say about that. Stay the heck away from me. All right, we do have to head to the break on this 267th episode of the show. Remember, Ronnie's movie report. Yep, her movie report's coming up in the second segment of the program. Also, we're going to be talking about, do you take things too personal? Yeah. Do you take things too serious? How can we take things less serious? In other words, how can we take a step back, take a deep breath, calm down, and not overreact over other people's actions, worries, pain, our own worries, our own pain? How can we take things less serious? How can we live a less stressful life in that environment, that scenario? There's a great article on Huffington Post's website that talks about this, that goes into how we can take things less serious, if you think about it. Rick Hansen, a PhD, actually wrote this, focused around this, a neuropsychologist, and the author of the book Buddha's Brain, The Practical Neuroscience of Happiness, Love, and Wisdom. So we're going to be talking about this and focusing around the ancient Taoist teacher Chuang Zhao, I believe, or Chuang Tzu, which has to do around maybe taking a step back, breathing a bit. We've heard of Sun Tzu and Chuang Tzu and all the other zoos out there. We'll talk about this here as well as your blast from the past. Don't go anywhere, because Ronnie and I have a lot coming up right after the break. Welcome back to, that is right, Take Two, episode number 267 of the program right here on the Voices on the Net Network. And Ronnie and I appreciate having all of you tune in each and every show. We're glad to see all of you here as we're back for more. That is right, the second segment of this 267th episode of the program. Now, apparently, the rapture is going to be happening a lot sooner, Ronnie, than we had originally had read into what this guy had originally predicted, I guess. That's 11 p.m., apparently. I don't know if it's 11 p.m. Eastern Time. It's when the time about hits like a 6 p.m. at the international date line at the 180 longitude. I guess we would actually be hitting that point in time where the world ends sooner than, I guess, originally thought. Huh.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll talk more about this. But before we get into all of that, if all of you tuned in right now would be so kind as the great listeners to this network, please visit www.vonthenet.com. That is right, the Voices on the Net Network's website, where you, the listeners, will be able to find more information pertaining to the Voices on the Net Network. Yeah, all you need to do is go up to the top of the website, where you will see an About link. You click it, where you will reach a web page providing you everything you need to know pertaining to the network in thorough detail. Now, you can also check out podcasts of any of the episodes from any of the shows and they are all available on demand for and at your very own convenience. And you can check all of these great features out by going to www.vonthenet.com. So, yeah, Ronnie, guess what? Apparently, May 21st is going to come a bit sooner. Now, as we are doing the show, it is May 20th, and it is currently 3:24 p.m. Eastern Time. So, apparently, I have less than 12 hours left on this Earth. Apparently.
Same here. That's why I'm hurry up and writing my list.
Yeah.
Of what I need to get done before this happens. Things I need to experience.
Right. Listen to this. It's May 20th, the day before the rapture is supposed to begin, according to Doomsday Prophet Harold Camping. Camping states that the rapture is actually going to happen later today around 11 p.m. when the time hits 6 p.m. at the international date line at the 180 longitude. You got that? That's what he states. As Camping told the Atlantic, quote, everyone will be weeping and wailing because they'll know in a few hours it'll come to their city. Yes, I guess.
So is it like, what happened when remember watching the Ten Commandments and here come that green mist down there, and if you didn't have the blood on your door, it came and got you.
I wonder how many people are going to put ice in their shoes and leave it outside their doors, and I just wonder, symbolically speaking. I don't know. If I guess, what more can we say? We talked about it during we spent 20 minutes talking about this at the beginning of the show. Originally thinking we had more than 24 hours on this Earth, so we had at least a day. Now we don't even have half a day left.
So it's actually the 20th.
Yeah.
At the end of the world.
So
I thought he had his math all figured out.
I thought he had all, exactly. I thought his math was all figured out. I thought it was set in stone. So you're telling me that you're adding the variability, which mathematics does include. So I guess it wouldn't be mathematics if there weren't variables included. So if he changed it from May 21st to May 20th, so that means in the next 20 minutes the world can end.
Yes.
That means in 5 seconds the world's going to end. Hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm still here. So, I guess that means it. So I guess he's either he's adding the variable factor to it, or he's just trying to add more to his arsenal. I guess if he predicts another day, maybe he'll better his chances of getting it right.
So if we watch the news, we will be able to see, right?
Right, I guess so.
Each town being evaporated and so on.
Well, I'm just going to stay on the internet. I'd have a better chance at following everywhere else and so forth. So I guess if other places where it hits 6 o'clock before us don't have this problem, we probably don't have much to worry about.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
Plus, I thought the people in Iraq, they're ahead of us.
Right.
So it's already tomorrow. Well, it's getting close, actually. Another 2 hours, it will be tomorrow there.
Yeah.
So they should be able to find out, if Iraq stays on the planet and people are still there, I think we could be safe. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong because, I'm not really good at math anymore, so.
Yeah, now.
Theoretically.
The one thing that people are preparing for, post-rapture looting, that's what they're preparing for. To loot places and so forth. I guess.
Why prepare if you're not going to be here?
Exactly. Well, people are planning to be here. They're planning to be the ones that will survive, that won't be saved. In other words, that won't be lifted up into the sky.
Oh,
they're the ones
I see.
That are going to stay
I thought we
here.
were supposed to be zombies.
Right. I guess that's the other part of it there. This is just so bogus. The
CDC said their releases, get this, a survival mode and tips.
Yeah, they did.
For those of us, I guess, that are not good enough and that do not get to go on this trip this time around, obviously, that we are all going to be zombies now. And there is a way, I guess. Personally, I think, Michael Jackson, we should just all go out there and start doing the Thriller dance.
Right. Exactly.
11 o'clock,
Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't doubt that people would actually be doing the Thriller dance. Actually, yeah. Now you brought up that CDC list. Great that you did bring that up. We'll go into some of these survival items that the CDC actually brought up that put on this list. Items you should have should the dead come back to life. That include water, 1 gallon per person per day. Food, stock up on non-perishable items that you can eat regularly. Medications, this includes prescription and non-prescription meds. Tools and supplies, you got your utility knife, your duct tape, you've got your battery-powered radio, et cetera, et cetera. You have sanitation and hygiene. You have your household bleach, your soap, your towels, etc. Seeing that we're really not going to have the internet or anything because, everything's going to be destroyed. I will make sure that I have a computer, by the way, or my iPod Touch. Yeah, clothing and bedding, a change of clothes for each family member and blankets. You want important documents. You want copies of your driver's license, your passport, and birth certificate, to name a few.
As a zombie?
Yeah, I guess you want your identifications, just in case an authority figure approaches you. And finally, first aid supplies, which is self-explanatory. It's kind of
if you're a zombie, who cares about first aid? Aren't you attacking other people?
Exactly. That's, I guess, how you survive. Isn't that how a zombie survives? They eat somebody else?
I watched Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
You're supposed to have bullets. And, of course, there's always those few people that in every single Dawn of the Dead show always die. So we're not going to be one of those people.
Just make sure you don't stand under any pianos if you turn into a zombie, because more than likely, it always seems the zombies always get squashed by a piano.
They do.
From their head.
And make sure that all of your vehicles have gas in them, because every time that you're trying to outrun a zombie in these movies, there's never any gas, and you've got to go miles and miles away to go find the gas. And, of course, all these zombies follow you. So I think we should be prepared in that instance, something the CDC forgot to put on their list.
Exactly. But let's go into 10 lessons for surviving a zombie attack, shall we? Number 1. We'll go back and forth. We'll switch here. Number 1, organize before they rise. Organize before they rise. 10 lessons for surviving a zombie attack. What's number 2, Ronnie?
I couldn't tell you because I don't have it up.
Okay, I'll go into it here. They feel no fear. Why should you? They feel no fear. Why should you? Number 3, use your head, but cut off theirs. Use your head, but cut off theirs. That's how you survive. You need to take out another zombie. Number 4, blades don't need reloading. Blades don't need reloading. No, that's what a shotgun is for. Number 5, ideal protection equals tight clothes and short hair. Yeah, I guess you want you want limited baggage, I suppose, right, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 6. Number 6 is get up the staircase, but then destroy it. Get up the staircase.
Okay, so you're going to go upstairs and burn it?
Right, because you don't want the zombies to have a way to get up to follow you.
Where are you going to go?
You're going to go up the stairs, and then you're going to destroy it so the zombies don't walk up after you. That's what you're going to do. Understand? Thank you. Number 7, get out
There's
of
a chimney.
Yeah. There you go. You want to shimmy up the drain pipe. 7, get out of the car, get onto the bike. I guess you don't have a blind spot on a bike. That's why. So I guess you could bet your bottom dollar that Lance Armstrong is going to use a bike and not a car. Number 8, keep moving, keep low, keep quiet, keep alert. Yeah. Number 8 is keep moving, keep low, keep quiet, keep alert. Yeah. Number 9, no place is safe, only safer. No place is safe, only safer. And finally, number 10, the zombie may be gone, but the threat lives on. The zombie may be gone, but the threat lives on. Yeah.
So, garlic is out. The silver bullet doesn't work.
No.
So the people that are already dead are going to come back to life, right? So we got to guard the cemeteries. Ooh, I live by one.
You're back. Danger may be lurking where you least expect it. You may find a relative, friend, or neighbor coming after one thing: your brain. This Halloween is forecasted to be a high season for zombie attacks, and we're going to help.
I thought we weren't even going to make it to Halloween. I thought the end of the world is going to occur. See, that they can't even get their facts straight. It's ridiculous.
You get through it, brain intact. This is Zombies in Plain English. The first step is identifying a zombie.
Okay, I understand it now. This was actually created back in 2007. That's why they're saying Halloween. Gotcha. So these are just how to survive a zombie attack.
Take your Uncle Dan. Here's Dan as we all know him, a normal guy. Now, let's look at Dan as a zombie. Notice the unnatural mouth position and dark eyes. The shoulders will be off-kilter, arms reaching, grabbing, legs limpy, skin pale. This is a zombie. Be careful this Halloween. You may see people that resemble zombies. Remember, zombies don't eat candy, only brains.
Only brains.
You may also see them dancing with Michael Jackson. These are actors. Zombies don't dance. When you encounter a real zombie, it's time to have a plan. Here's how to survive an attack. Your first reaction may be to retreat to a home or business. This is only a short-term solution because they will never stop, ever. Instead, consider heading to a Costco. Don't plan to wait out an attack without proper rations. Now, keep your
I
cool.
guess, Ronnie, if you're going to survive a zombie attack, I guess the best thing is at least have the rations and the items you need to survive them, in other words. Because if you feel the end is inevitable, if it is going to come, at least have some food and such. Costco's bigger than your local your local apartment building or a house or something. Costco's a pretty big place, so I guess having that open space benefits you in a zombie-infested world, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, although according to some of those movies out there that we've all learned, you have to take notes.
Right.
Salt. They forgot about the salt. Remember, the salt also makes them slow down. So maybe we should buy a lot of Morton.
Yeah,
buy it down on the ground. Either that or bricks.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you're saying. Absolutely. Oh, this is just too much to. This is too much to handle sometimes, Ronnie. This really is. That's why we're going to move on. All right? We're going to move on to the next item on the itinerary. Ronnie's movie report is actually coming up. You're not going to want to go anywhere. We'll find out what movie Ronnie went to go see and what she has to say about it. But what we're going to do before that is talk about taking things less serious. Yeah. Taking things less personal. Do you take things too personal? Do you? Well, I could tell you that there are times where I feel I take things a bit personally, a bit seriously, but why live life that way? Live life less serious, less personal. You'll live a less stressful life, a less anxious life. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. The great article on the Huffington Post website. Also, your blast from the past coming up at the end of the program. But before we do so, it is time to thank our sponsor. Yep, this portion of the 267th episode of Take Two is brought to you by Audible.com. And we thank Audible for their support of the Take Two program as well as the Voices on the Net network. Yep. With over 85,000 titles to choose from, Ronnie and I have one heck of a deal for all of you where you do not have to spend a dime. You don't have to spend a cent. You'll receive one free audiobook and a 14-day free trial to browse the selection of audiobooks offered at Audible. All you have to do to take advantage of this great offer is go to audibletrial.com/take2. Yep, audibletrial.com/take2. You'll be glad you did because if you're an avid reader, even if you're not an avid reader, more than likely you enjoy watching your favorite TV shows or your favorite movies, or listening to your favorite podcasts or shows, radio shows, or listening to music via your computer or your MP3 player. Heck, if the world's going to end, you'll be glad you had your MP3 player or a device around so you could enjoy something to listen to, seeing that we're not going to have the internet or anything else. So the charge your MP3 players up, charge your computers up, and get to Audible to get your free book. To take advantage of this offer, go to audibletrial.com/take2. Yeah, audibletrial.com/take2 to check the service out, receive your free audiobook and your 14-day free trial. You will be glad you did. As always, we thank Audible for their support of Take Two as well as the Voices on the Net network.
Something to listen to while you're hiding from the zombies.
There you go. Take Ronnie's word for it. It's a good deal. All right, do you take things too personally, Ronnie? Do you? Do you
sometimes
find that you do? Yeah. I think it would be naive for us to think that, there are, those that don't take things seriously at all in their lives. I think everybody takes things seriously every now and then in their lives. There are times where we reach our tipping point. I think we all have that tipping point.
Oh, yeah.
That boiling point where people just push us over the edge. You look at the most calm people in the world. Even they, at some point or another in time, they're going to overreact. They may reach the boiling point. They're stressed out to the point where they just don't care. They're going to overreact. They're going to reach that point where they're going to just go crazy. But some people take it bit further, a step further. There are people out there that do take things more serious, more personally than others. We're going to talk about we're going to discuss an interesting article on HuffingtonPost.com where the author, Rick Hansen, a PhD, talks about how to take things less seriously, less personally. I want to hear what you have to say about this, Ronnie, when it comes to taking things too serious. Life is too short, I think. And clearly, I don't want to say, listen, there aren't going to be times where you're not going to feel the need to focus on taking something a bit more serious than others because you don't want people to step on your toes. But do you want to live that stressful period in your life if you can somehow maybe prevent it from happening?
It is stressful when you think about it, but it depends on what type of day you've had. People tend to hold things in, and the longer they hold things in, they start thinking about the me, the my, the I, the self themselves. So anything that is directed, that probably isn't even directed towards them, or if someone says something, I know sometimes I do the same thing, that if I've had a bad day, I become more centralized, focused on myself. So someone who could have a something could tell me something or advise me on something, but it's the tone of the voice, and I take it personally at that point, and so I kind of have to back off. I think if a lot of us do that, it's almost a self-defense mechanism to a degree, because we don't really allow people in so far into our lives until we trust you. But I think on this, since we start taking things too personally, we do become so stressed out. We end up lashing out at other people because the more people that that love that type of company, we like to bring people inward to us. I think that with this kind of an inward thing, I think it's most people, I think, have this. Even though Donald Trump, as a matter of fact, was talking about this probably, I think, 4 days ago, that he was taking things too seriously in the media. That's why he was decided not to run for president, was because the media was after him. And everybody knows when you run for office, they're always out to get you in one form or another. It's a story that he said he got to taking things so seriously, he couldn't think beyond what he was doing at that moment, running his own business, his own show, those types of things. He wasn't able to do so. He wasn't able to function. Right. Thereby, he backed out. I think we do that as well. We shut down. Yeah. At that point.
No, I think you're right, Ronnie, when it comes to that. I think the thing is, life is you go through life knowing there are going to be moments where it's going to throw you curveballs. You're going to receive a curveball here, a slider here, a knuckleball here. But then you're going to receive a fastball right down the middle where it's going to knock you right in the side. And I think people need to maybe understand that more. If you understand that, maybe you don't take life as serious as others. Because people that don't see something coming, I think they get more upset because of that. Blindsided, exactly. Because of it. If they understand that life will give them moments, provide them moments in their lives specifically where they're going to receive curveballs, fastballs, they're going to receive blindside, they're going to receive these situations that are going to make them overreact, make them angry. Whereas if they did understand that there are curveballs involved in life, they wouldn't take it as serious as they would. Taking things less serious, though, while maybe a challenge, I'd definitely be up for the challenge. Heck, absolutely, wouldn't you? Because I've admitted it earlier. Yeah, there are times where I take things a bit too serious. There are times where I need to take a deep breath. I've taken to meditating. I have. I meditate all the time because if I feel I'm getting a bit anxious, if I feel life is overwhelming me, my day is overwhelming me because there's so much going on, I'll simply just stop whatever I'm doing and meditate. And it helps. It helps immensely. So I think if we all take that approach, everybody has their own ways, their own process. I understand that. But meditating as just the infrastructure and starting there. Now, there are clearly a lot of other things you can do to relax and so forth. But really enjoy taking things less personally, less seriously, because life is short, as stated before. We know that.
10 hours. But do we do we sit there? I know some people that are just carefree, and you're looking at them and you think, how can they do that?
Right.
How can they make it through life? They don't care. If something happens, they don't care. It just happened. They can't change it. Nothing they can do is going to alter the situation. Me, on the other hand, if I'm in that same situation, I'm stressed. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to find a remedy for it. Then you have others out there that don't, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It don't. I'm not I don't think I'm trained in that facility, because you're always prepared. You're always looking around you to find out what's going on. Who's going to be the next person to attack you? I think, are we waiting for that, that moment? We have that security mechanism that we are always waiting for. Someone is always out to get you, I think, feeling. Especially when you talk about the terms of, nowadays. Different things are going on. Employment, the economy, the government's run amok. Everything's gone. And we're waiting for that next, as people that take things so seriously, we're always waiting for that other shoe to drop. One thing happens to us and you're like, oh, and we always tempt fate. Oh, what's going to happen next? What could possibly happen next?
Right.
We almost anticipate it. We don't prepare for it, but we anticipate it. We're bringing it on because now we're at the point, no matter what happens, we're going to take it as a negative against us. And I think that also reflects how we're going to deal with that type of emotion and expand it on somebody else, because our temperament, I have a pretty good temper if you get me going, but we take that and we always have to share it. Do we really have to share? Right. the tone that you use with other people, you get nasty, then it's just kind of like a 3-ring circus with those everybody around you. It's it just blends off of everybody, I think.
Right. They bring up in this article here, and this is, I might as well use it. All credit is due to Rick Hansen, given to Rick Hansen, PhD, a neuropsychologist and the author of Buddha's Brain, the Practical Neuroscience of Happiness, Love, and Wisdom. Uses this scenario. Imagine you're floating in a canoe on a slow-moving river, having a Sunday picnic with a friend. Suddenly there is a loud thump on the side of the canoe, and it rolls over. You come up sputtering, and what do you see? Yeah, somebody has snuck up on your canoe, flipped it over for a joke, and is laughing straight at your face. How do you feel? That's a great scenario right there, if you think about it. However, we are allowed to make decisions in life, though. And everybody may not have that same scenario. Maybe people will prevent the canoe from tipping over. Maybe people won't. That's a choice, or that's just a scenario. Well, a couple of scenarios you can use right there. There's another one here, imagining that same exact situation. However, the picnic is in the canoe, the loud thump being dumped into the river, coming up sputtering, what do you see, et cetera, et cetera. However, rather than somebody coming up and laughing at you, a large submerged log is the culprit, drifted downstream and bumped into your canoe. How do you feel with that scenario? Somebody's not laughing at you, but the canoe was hit by a log, tipped the canoe over, you're all wet, so forth. How do you deal with that, Ronnie? Somebody's laughing at you because they tipped your canoe over versus a log hitting into it.
You can't beat up a log.
Right.
What the scenario with the log, that's just something that's going to happen. There's something that's out of your control.
Right.
The person that's tipping your boat over, that's not out of your control at this point. Somebody else had control over you and intentionally done something to you. Yeah, that I would take personally. They intentionally trying to do me harm, even though they thought it was a joke. And I wouldn't think it was a joke, mostly because I don't like to swim like that. But that would be the difference between those two scenarios. First of all, you can take care of one situation. The log, you really don't have any control over. So is he trying to state that even if a friend done it, they done it out of no harm, no foul.
Right.
Where the log was basically the same scenario, no harm, no foul.
Right. You didn't, in other words, hurt yourself. You're just wet. That's all. Yeah. So you put yourself into that scenario, regardless of whether somebody's laughing at you or somebody's not laughing at you and a log hit your canoe and tipped it over. You didn't hurt yourself. You're not bruised anywhere. You're just wet. So at that moment right there, I know it's difficult. It's a challenge, but it's a test to yourself. If you place yourself in that scenario and you just say to yourself, "Well, you know what? It's a good thing I didn't get hurt. It's a good thing I don't have any bruises. It's a good thing I didn't drown. I'm up. I'm back on the I'm back on the canoe. I'm wet, but I can deal with it." That right there is a true testament on how you can maybe take things less seriously. Deep breath, focusing on that moment, not your overreaction that would usually come maybe because of that moment. And I think there are plenty of people that would react the exact opposite, but the challenge is that you don't. And maybe it would be quite different. Actually, it would be quite different. It's whether or not you could challenge yourself or test yourself to prevent yourself from overreacting. If, say, a log hit your canoe and tipped it over versus somebody that did it and then is laughing at you. It's one thing for the guy or gal to tip the canoe over and tip it over and you're all wet. It's another thing having that person laugh at you right in your face. That may be your tipping point right there. The wetness would not. The tipping point is that person laughing at you. You just want to pop them in the face.
Yeah, that could be the insult to injury. Even though you're not injured, it's still an insult.
Oh, they're pouring salt on a wound.
Yeah.
An open wound, so.
Because with the log, you're taking things into stride. That would be kind of hard, wouldn't it, to have a friend to come over and they're laughing at you, not with you, because you're obviously not laughing.
Right.
To take it in the same form of context, because you're talking about someone who's actually attacking you to a degree.
Yeah.
That the log isn't really attacking you. There's no thought process to it, so we wouldn't really take that too personally, although there are people out there that thinks, what comes around goes around type scenario, or everything always bad happens to me.
Right.
Be taken in the same context.
Let me add another scenario, and remember, all credit goes to the author for that specific scenario, Rick Hansen. All credit, but I want to create a unique scenario based off of that one. Say you do have somebody is the cause because your canoe tipped over. Somebody did tip it over, but they didn't do it on purpose. Somebody else's canoe, they couldn't control it, bumped into your canoe, knocks it over. You're in the water. You're all wet. They're not laughing. How do you handle that situation? By accident. You know what I mean? Somebody's now totally upset. They're saying they're sorry. You're wet. Your canoe is tipped over. You're still angry that it was tipped over. There would still be people that would overreact because they would say, "Will you watch where you're going?" rather than somebody laughing in your face, which would probably be an easier tipping point, a more severe boiling point because somebody's laughing at you. But that person didn't mean to do what they did. It was an accident. They bumped into your canoe, knocked it over because they couldn't control it. So
you see that a lot, though.
Right.
If you think about that. Look on the road. People have accidents all the time, and you have those that, whether they were not paying attention, negligence on their part, and they're usually apologetic, but the one that's getting hit, they are out of that car over there yelling, screaming, pounding on the car, even though, that's why it's called an accident.
Right.
We treat the same way when it happens to our own lives. We take it as an insult.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to head into Ronnie's That Is Right movie report. It is that episode where we feature none other than Ronnie, focusing on her movie review that we look forward to, of course, every time she has seen a movie and reviews it. Gives us her views, her opinion on what the movie was about and how how the plot and the action, the comedic value, the drama, etc. So what do you say, Ronnie, we get into your movie report? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, folks, here we go. Get your tickets and popcorn ready, because it is time to take a break from the critics. It's Ronnie's Movie Report. There you go, Ronnie. You've got the mic. What'd you go see?
I went to go see Priest.
Priest.
I wasn't sure how I was going to react to this movie. I had seen the movie previews, of course, in the theater. So I wasn't for sure if I really wanted to see it, if that was a movie that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad I did. It brings back all kinds of worlds. You remember Mad Max?
Right. Yeah, I did. I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
This has the same type of theory going on. I mean, the same type of organizational backgrounds, the cinematography that's going on. It brings all those worlds together.
Okay.
And Paul Bettany, let me tell you what, he plays Priest in this movie, and he is an awesome. I never recognized him in any other movie until now, of him being in this movie. He presents so many issues within his character. His character goes through several different types of changes, both mood and experience-wise, within this context of the movie. And I mean, the directors really bring out the players in this. You have Carla Urban, you have Maggie Q. Oh, she performed her own stunts, believe it or not, in this movie. And if you watch the movie, you're going to be like in awe that she had the ability to do this. It brings back almost a country western atmosphere, but like in the Mad Max days, that type of atmosphere between the vampires and the humans. And the vampires, of course, were all gathered up and placed into their own little section of town and blocked up to protect the humans. And of course, the church protects the people. They have a group of strong people called the priest. This segment is called the priest. They're actually taken out of their individual lives without choice and brought into this unity. They form a union with each other. They take the celibacy law. They couldn't be a part of society, so they were actually separated with a cross on their forehead until priest's niece is actually kidnapped and he has to go find her. That is the basis of the story. I mean, there's so many twists and turns. It's not one that you want to steer away, and I don't see how you're going to be able to steer away.
Right.
It brings back, it has the Catholic Church, it has different instances, of course, the Mad Max days, the cowboy days. It has motorcycles in this, for crying out loud. Can you imagine being in a Western and a motorcycle comes flying up behind you?
Yeah.
You cannot expect what's going to happen next in the movie. I was thrilled. The audience that I was sitting with, I was watching people's reactions. Nobody got up to go to the bathroom. Nobody did anything. They were like glued.
It was captivating.
To the screen. Yeah, it just pulls you in. Once you start, I mean, it starts right off the bat. Boom, you're suckered in. It just takes you in. Yeah. There's no building up to it. As soon as you start, boom, there it is, and it has you hooked from that moment on. And people did not get up and leave, none whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I talked to a few people after the movie was over, and they were amazed by what they had seen. They did not realize that that's what the movie was about, because when you watch the previews, it reflects a different strategy than what the actual movie is. So I was impressed. I really was. I wasn't for sure when I first went in there. Oh, I don't know if I want to watch this, spending my money on this. I am so glad I did. And I would highly suggest it. It's been out about a week now. Mm-hmm. And so far, I mean, as far as I can tell, the people that I've watched, there are a few that have not liked it. They didn't like that kind of a scene. They thought it was like a remake, as I suggested, of Mad Max.
Oh, yeah, it's a sci-fi horror.
Yeah,
movie.
It's a thriller. I mean, thrillers are like that. This is exactly.
Right, but it's got the sci-fi structure.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does. And I think you have to be a fan of that type of movie to really enjoy what goes on in here. But I mean, the actors, the scenery, the cinematography, the effects are just absolutely awesome.
So what do you give it? What do you give it out of 10 stars, Ronnie?
I would give it a 7.5.
All right, safe enough. Good rating. Yeah, IMDb as of right now gave it a 5.6 out of 10. So, I mean, again, everybody's going to have their own views, their own opinions on it, but 7.5 out of 10, that's safe to say. A decent review right there. Glad you enjoyed it, though. Thank you for your movie review. Always look forward to what you have to say. What do you say we hit the past, though, head into the past? That is right. Blast from the past time for this 267th episode of the show. Want to take the time machine into the past, Ronnie?
Yes. There's no zombies there, right?
Ronnie, not that I know of. If we go into the past, at least we'll have more time to be on this earth, apparently, if you follow what's going on. But
okay, let's go to the past.
All right, let's head into the past, folks. Everybody in the time machine. Here we go, folks. This is your blast from the past. Enjoy. What do you look for? What do you look for in a leader? Okay, what is considered good leadership? What are the characteristics? What are the qualities of a leader? What about a bad leader? What do you look for in a leader in general?
I look for someone who is a great communicator. Okay. And that means knowing what the message is, being able to send the message out, and do it in such a way that the message is received.
Okay.
So I think communication, above all, I think is at the top of the list. Because communication is an important aspect, because if you're not a leader, if nobody's listening to you, if you're not bringing across what the problem is, addressing the problem, and have a direct route of how you're going to get to a specific problem, communication is the very top of that process. And without that, it's a fail.
Right.
It's a fail right off the bat. So for me, It is communication, and I think a very well communicator in all aspects, whether it be in an email or office memos or even in words, talking verbally to face.
Right.
That is what makes a good leader for me.
Somebody that is an exemplary character, somebody that you would want to say copy because of their leadership capability, somebody that you're honored to copy, somebody that you're honored to follow. I understand that. What about people that leaders that listen, people that are good listeners?
Right.
Communication is great because they can communicate with you on a level that they don't try and make you feel like you're lower than them, but they're still a leader. They're leading you in a right direction. But somebody that listens, to what you have to say. How many people may be leaders and they communicate great, but do not listen to anything anybody says? There are certain lines that need to be drawn. Maybe the leader has a specific vision. Maybe the leader has, wants to lead something, whether it's a company, et cetera, a basketball team in a certain direction, but they still listen to what others say. They may not necessarily follow what the individuals are saying, but still, there's a difference between actually acting about what they want to do and acting on, upon listening to what they're saying. People that treat people with, other people with respect. That's another thing. What about being considerate of other people? That's another thing. What about inspiring others? And more so, what about soliciting compelling or competing views? I'd say compelling views because a leader has to have a good vision. A leader has to be able to lead whomever they're leading in the right and more compelling, you know what I mean? They're trying to lead them in a specific direction.
Plan.
Exactly. Go ahead.
A well-defined plan. I mean, usually the leader knows, they know what the problem is, they know what the issue is, or what the agenda is, and they also have the ability, because people are looking up to you, what do we do now? Because you have leaders and followers. And as long as you know what that foundation is and what the goals are, you have an agenda of how to get there.
Yeah.
So it has to be the best way, not the shortest route, but the best route to get where you're going.
Right. And I think a lot of people, I run the Voices on the Net network. Okay. I like to think of myself as a prominent leader. Maybe others, whether listeners or somebody feels, oh, you're not a good leader. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You don't know what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. I feel that I am a good leader. I feel that I know where I'm taking this network, what I'm doing to lead it in a prominent direction. I want people to feel that. I want people to feel that they can trust what I'm saying, what I'm doing. Okay. But there you have it, your blast from the past. As always look forward to what the time machine is going to give us. Right.
Yes, leadership. We'll need that tomorrow since we're going to start a whole new country now.
Yeah, it's just some people are natural-born leaders. Some people need a little bit of a push. And you know what? I'll be glad to lead the movement here, Let's all, rejoice together and fight to be the great group that we are. And survive. How's that?
Survivor.
Survivor, there you go.
The President Edition. Ooh.
Yeah. The apocalyptic version of Survivor.
Right, we all want to be on Survivor. Here we are.
There you go. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's all the time we have for this 267th episode of the show. But guess what, Ronnie? The important thing is, we will be back for the next episode to do it all over again for these great listeners.
Right. Live.
Yeah. Live. Yeah, that is right. Monday. Yeah, it is Friday right now, and apparently, according to some, the world will end within 12 hours. However, Ronnie and I could tell you that for the next episode, we will be here for you doing it. I know I say God willing all the time, but we will be here for you. So until next time, we sadly have to say so long for now. Take care. Much love to you all. You're the best. Bye-bye, folks.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.